Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this 3 p.m. panel. This parallel panel going on is in this ballroom one. And this topic here is, I think it's there, the race to market, the changing paradigm for go-to-market process. Um, so the ground rules of this panel is that we will have I'll take 5 minutes to set the stage. Then each of the panelists will introduce themselves and their specific aspects they will discuss upon for first 5 minutes. Then based on that discussion, small second round of 5 minute discussion again will happen based on specific questions. And after that, we'll be open for Q&A. And towards the end, there will be one key takeaway from each panelist. Hopefully, this is okay with all of you. So, without wasting much time, this is a very critical topic for most of the startups because a lot of the audiences are startups in this, I believe. We talk about this word innovation, and before that, I forgot to introduce myself. Sorry, this is what happens when you are a faculty member and you become too old. So my name is Deepa Philip. I'm a professor at IIT Kanpur. I'm also the faculty in charge of the Incubation and Innovation Center at IIT Kanpur. So that's enough. So the innovation aspect that I'm going to talk about, or we were discussing as the panel before, it's a simple equation that we're going to look at. It's creativity and commercialization. It's creativity plus commercialization. And many of the earlier panels also talked about how are people creative, and many times the startups also have problems where the commercialization aspect lacks a lot of thought process, or sometimes there's a lot of holes in that commercialization strategy. So this go-to-market typically can think about it in the premises of two major questions. One is either what is the products that you're selling, or what the new product that you're bringing to the market, or the other question is what is the changes in the existing product that you are doing so that it can be brought into a new market. And the main aspect of the go-to-market aspect is the 4 Ps: the product, price, place, and promotion. So many of our discussions will be around that. And before handing over to the panelist, because there was earlier discussion, some of the panels also mentioned that AI is going to transform this domain, the go-to-market. There'll be a lot more involvement of AI. And I was giving this example to our panelists that there is two things called the competitiveness and comprehension. So, and I was using the example of a bird making the nest. So a bird is very competitive in making nest. It goes, picks the right branches, brings it to find the right Y-shaped fork in the tree, puts those branches together and makes its nest. But if I replace those dried branches with carbon tubes or carbon fiber tubes, the bird will not pick it because the bird won't have the comprehension that the carbon nanotube is more durable than the dried branches of the tree. So a lot of the time in the startup journey from the go-to-market, there is this comprehension that is very critical. So with that statement, I would hand the mic over to Shafrir from Israel. And he is an incubator himself. I'll let him do the honors. But the first question or the first premises in which I would like to talk, I would request you to talk about is how does the commercialization, what are the aspects of commercialization, the holes that you see in startups, and how can that be addressed? Or what are some of the ways incubators can work in solving that problem?
Good afternoon to everyone. First, I must say that I'm pleased and I'm honored to be here. I'm in India since 2011, flying a lot between Israel and India. And I find it amazing how the language has changed as we see it today. India speaks the startup or VC's language. This is something I didn't see, let's say, 15 years ago. So I'm honored and I cherish the opportunity to be here. About more than 2 decades ago, I established my own company, consultancy firm, AgriQuality, mainly on the agribusiness. In 2011, I was replacing some of my friends in Israel, hosting a farmer from Tamil Nadu. And this opportunity gave me an invitation to India later on. And since then, I'm there, and not knowing India before that, since then, I'm like a young lady in love in India, and I'm happy to come again and again. 2 years ago, I've joined some of my friends, and we have established Nature Grows, which is an incubator focusing on agtech in Israel. And we will promote approximately 80 technologies in the coming decade. And I'm saying technologies because not all of them are startups. Some of them will be startups, hopefully, with our help. Some of them are ideas, technologies, professors from universities, and we hope to lead them to become an influencing player in the agtech world. So you were asking about commercialization, and I think this is a major obstacle, a major challenge for the startups and for the incubator or the accelerators. Most of the startup people, the entrepreneurs, are coming from some kind of professional discipline, and they want to develop something. Not always they come with the business skills, not always they come with the experience, the marketing experience. And this is something that the accelerator or the incubator has to contribute many times. And I wrote to myself 4 quarters of the role, the incubator role in this procedure of promoting the startup. First, we have to be focused. And the AI is challenging that because it is very easy to get data, collect data, analyze data, understand data, phrase it to one sentence that makes sense, and it might take you away from your market, your focus. So I think the first quarter of the 4-role system of the incubator is stay tuned, stay focused, and make sure your startups are focusing on what they know better, what they are doing. And you may use AI, you may use big data, you may use whatever is innovative and new, but stay focused. Second quarter of this model of supporting startup is go to sales as soon as possible. And I'm not saying only marketing. Go to sales. Try to sell as soon as possible. Be careful, because if you sell something that is not mature enough, it doesn't have to be complete, but it has to be mature enough. So you won't get the experience and the knowledge and the feedback from the customer. More than that, today, especially in the recent times, as the VC market is changing a lot, the question that I'm hearing again and again from the investor is, do they sell? When will they sell? So sell as soon as possible. Not too early, but as soon as possible. And it is, I think, a common agreement between the people that work on this industry, that the entrepreneurs and the startups many times goes for the complete product, complete services, do whatever they know best, and they forget the marketing and the sales. And this statement of mine get the support from the IIA, the Israeli Innovation Authority, that support a lot of the startups. In our incubator and some other programs they have, they insist of having a marketing budget in the request for their support. They will not support someone that did not provide a marketing chapter in his budget, in his business plan. This is something that we have to take care of it and make sure that we go to marketing and sale as soon as possible, not when the product is finished. During and parallel to the development of the product, we should deal with the market and sales. The third quarter of our role, I think, is to create internal cooperation. Every VC, every accelerator, every incubator like ourselves has the opportunity to make the contacts, the internal networking. And I've seen it just a week before, as we had a professional tour in some farms in Israel. We have invited the startups, and as the day promoted, they have done a lot of connection. They've learned a lot about each other. They don't, even though they sit in the next door. They have very close tables. They don't talk. So the third quarter is make sure they talk, your startups. And the fourth one is, I think, to go public. When I'm saying go public, is try to get some public funds. First, it has the reputation. If you get the support of the Israeli Innovation Authority, it is money, first. And secondly, it is a reputation. You won something, you get granted for something. Someone put the money on you, not like investors, but go public. There are grants, the European grants. I'm sure that there are some Indian grants, World Bank grants, whatever. Many times we try to get those also into the business plan of our startups. And that's it for now.
Thank you, Shafrid. So, continuing on to Devan, I'll next approach you, Madhu. So, since Madhu, she'll introduce herself, but she's actually from an accelerator and she has more experience in that domain. So, since you've seen a lot of startups that are created by incubators, which may have good creative ideas, poorly thought through commercial plans and etc., that comes to you, and you have to then keep working on that clay to mold it into shape and stuff like that. So, from your experience, would you what have you seen in the field, and how would you? What are some of the key takeaways that you would give to startups so that those kind of mistakes won't happen when they are going through? Because there are a lot of them in our audience. Is that fair enough?
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Madhu, a managing partner at Ethom Venture Partners, headquartered in Singapore. We have worked and supported more than 120 startups so far. All these startups come from B2B background. All these startups are from B2B side. These startups have been from different parts of the world. And the support that we provide, or the help, or the work that we do for these startups, is to helping them in acquiring more enterprise customers once they have proven their product market fit in one of the markets in which they are starting off. After that, they feel, okay, now we are ready to expand in new geographies, or maybe we are ready to grab more customers or acquire more customers. And that's the time when they come to Ethom, and they can leverage on Ethom's ecosystem, since we have partnered with lots of system integrators, channel partners, and we work with lots of corporates as well. And there are LPs also in our ecosystem who are investing, supporting these B2B focused startups. So that's about Ethom and what we do. Talking about the commercialization, or talking about the startups that are coming to us after completing an incubation program. So yes, commercialization is, even though they have done the incubation, they are coming for acceleration at Ethom. But we do see it's a big challenge for the founders who are coming especially from the technical background. They know, they have an idea, they know how to develop a product, they know the technology, everything they understand. But when you go in the market and sell the product, customer will not buy the product because you have used an amazing technology. They'll buy the product because you are providing them a value. You are giving them that efficiency, solving their major issues, or taking away their pain from their day-to-day life. So technology doesn't matter, but the commercialization or the pain points that you are solving for your customers. That's one thing that matters for your customers when you go and sell them. So you have developed the product. Now, to whom you will provide this value? Who will understand the value? Who will understand your product? That's where comes product market fit. So understanding your market, understanding who will buy the product, the way it is, the way you have designed it, without making too many changes into it. If you have to make lots of changes while serving different customers, then that's not your product market fit, right? Product market fit is achieved once when you develop the product and then you sell that same product to multiple customers. You go ahead with the same product to the multiple customers without making major modifications. Some modifications could be there here and there, but you don't have to spend lots of resources or fund or time into that. So either these startups have their own founder, or they have their one of the team members who is good at the commercialization. If they don't, then they leverage on accelerator programs where they can get a really good help with the commercialization, with the product market fit, or with the go-to-market strategies. So I'll tell you, I'll give you one example. So we had one startup in our recent cohort. The product which they had, amazing, because the founder comes from the technical background, but he was struggling with the product market fit, that which sector I should be targeting. According to him, the educational institutes as well as the marketing agencies were both the perfect sectors for him. But of course, in the initial days, you cannot target or you cannot focus on multiple sectors because you don't have that much resources. So what we did for that startup, we hosted roast session. So during these roast sessions, what did we do? We invited their, so we hosted 2 roast sessions. In each roast session, we targeted different sectors or different industries that they wanted to target. Invited 4 to 5 of their targeted personas for both the roast sessions. So what did startup did during that roast session? It was a public roast session because that helps startups in getting more perspectives or different perspectives from the other online audience as well, instead of doing it in a closed room. So startup did a presentation for 5 to 10 minutes. After that, there was a proper roast session. There was a proper grilling question or challenging questions that startup received from their targeted customers. So those customers helped startup in understanding what I'm doing wrong, what these customers are looking additional in my product, whether I can make those changes in this product and sell them. So we did this thing for both the sectors. And in the end, the startup was able to decide, okay, this is a perfect sector. Educational institutes are the perfect for me because they are not looking for too many changes in the existing product. And now that product market fit is good for them for at least next 12 to 18 months. Of course, after 12 to 18 months, they'll have to go back and check the market, check the competition. I mean, of course, the competition is something which you keep on checking on a daily basis. You have to do that. But the complete product market fit check can be done after 12 to 18 months once they serve enough enough educational institutions. So yeah, either you have somebody in your team from the commercial experience who can commercialize your product, or you leverage accelerators who can help you with commercialization.
Thank you, Madhu. Sir, we are sharing mic, so that's why I'm moving back and forth. Oh, there's one more there. Okay, fine. So can you pass that to, please? Thank you. Next question is to you, Olivier. Olivier is from France, and he is also a startup. He's also running his own startup as well. So the question will be, now you are talking from the other side, from the startup perspective. You obviously have a creative product and you are also in the process of commercialization as well. So as a startup, what are the key things you would like to share to the audience that this go-to-market, how did you create that go-to-market aspects into your product? Olivia, the stage is yours.
Thank you. That's a wide question. We are a French startup established in the south of France for 5 years now, and we're developing a decision helping solution, both hardware, software, and data related, to help farmers with their sustainability transition, especially with soil health. So we want to promote a different way of farming using agroecology or regenerative agriculture. And what is important to say, beyond the fact that agri-tech is one of the hardest sectors there is that we're focusing on low-cost solution for farmers in Africa and Asia. We already have a pilot in Morocco, and we hopefully will have one or two in India this year. So really, going to your question, the problem is that the product market fit is hard to get in agri-tech because we are working basically right now with early adopters. The early majority is not there yet because the return on investment is not yet guaranteed. So most startups in agri-tech focus on the 10% of farmers, the wealthiest one. So it's 10% early adopters of 10% of the market. So it's 1% of the market. 90% of the agri-tech market is small farmers on small farms, and we want to address that. And I may surprise you when I say that hardware is not so hard. Software is soft, but data is hard, and data analysis is over hard. But the hardest part of our development is getting feedback from the farmers, because right now you can engage some of them, the 10% that you can identify as early adopter, but engage is one thing, re-engage is another thing, and getting feedback is very hard, because basically we develop, as many startups, with a SaaS model in head. And I would say SaaS is maybe obsolete now that the time of agent is coming up. Why? Because farmers, they need a very personalized solution. You can advise farmer if you don't have the information about the status of the soil, the weather forecast, the kind of varieties they grow, and the kind of practice they carry on. So if you want to provide valuable insights and valuable decision helping, you need to get all of this data, and data must be freshened up every day, and then you can maybe advise and maybe connect them with like-minded farmers doing the same. But right now, it's not yet done. It's in the building. So we are in a ever-evolving development, and it's good because as a tech entrepreneur, I like developing things. But as has been said, technology is just a means to an end. It's not, the purpose is to providing value. And in India, value for money is very important, I would say. So about the topic of AI, obviously AI can help us streamline our operations. And I would say with a jugaad approach that we have, we don't get a lot of money from investors because, as I said, the return on an investment is soon still to come. So with streamlining operation, we can reduce some expenses on the IT field to put that in the actual fields, speaking to farmers, convincing them, and getting feedback, which is what we lack the most. And obviously, we are prototyping and some, I would say, intelligent agent with agronomy-related agents for farmers, but they need to be heavily personalized. We get the data from the soil with our own probes. We get data forecast. It's highly available, but we don't get the most important part, say, how the farmers work on a day-to-day basis, because they don't use SaaS application. They may use WhatsApp, they may use other channel, but they don't use that. So we need to maybe find a new approach now that AI is becoming major to help them engage and re-engage, and for us to get the feedback from our actionable insights to help them better.
Thank you, Oliver. That's a good viewpoint from the startup side. Moving on, we will summarize at the end of after all the panelists have done. So now it's to you, Vikram, and Vikram, he'll introduce himself. But more than that, he wears multiple hats as an accelerator, partially as an incubator, investor, etc. So while wearing these different hats, you have come across different aspects of this go-to-market strategies and go-to-market aspects of various startups, incubators, and accelerators. So, what are some of the key things that you would like to share with the audience for the benefit of what your observations in all these aspects? And what do you think some of the key challenges these people face in go-to-market strategies among the startups specifically? Okay.
Hello. Hello. Hi. A very good evening to all of you. And I think this is the right day to answer the perfect subject about go-to-market when AI is disrupting the whole world, where to go, which market to go. And before I address to the point, I'm Vikram Upadhyay, and a little background about myself and why I'm here. My journey in the startup ecosystem started, interestingly, way back in 2006 when I got a chance to mentor one of the startups from Pune. And prior to that, I was happily enjoying my life in Japan, living in Tokyo from 1995 onwards till 2010. Doing digital transformation for the large enterprises. This startup was struggling to raise seed money. IITians from Guwahati, IIT Guwahati, if I'm not wrong. So a couple of my friends asked me to mentor him, and the mentoring was around the go-to market. The product was ready to be pitched to the market. They were building a data backup and synchronization product for the market, first time in India, ex Veritas guys. So I mentored these founders, and I realized that they have a potential to grow, scale big. But the idea was way ahead of time in 2006. So me and my friends together decided to invest in them. Fast forward, they are a $5 billion company today, global company, clients like NASA, Louis Vuitton, 30,000 corporates. The name of the company is Dhruva. So my journey started. That was the time when I decided that there's something more for me in this life to do better. I decided to quit my comfortable life in Japan, move back to India in 2010 with my family. Made sure that I'm not leaving a single trace of comfort zone to move back immediately to Japan if I'm not liking India. We struggled for 2 years with family to adjust in India because I lived in Japan for 16 years there. So I was trying to build something, but I had no idea what to build. So I started finding a problem. And the problem was, and that's still a very big problem, startups, they struggle to find the right mentors, right partners, right team members, right investors, right corporates, and the right exit door. So I decided to create a company called GHV. Greenhouse venture is the concept, which means it's a metaphor of a greenhouse to be created for the ventures. You create the right environment for the startups, and then once they are strong with the roots, then they can be planted outside the greenhouse. That was the concept, and that's how the origination of GHV, my company, the group, was conceptualized and started in 2014. With the roots in Japan, I partnered with large corporates, large funds to make some projects for them successful in India. So we have 4 pillars: incubation through in-house incubation. We have acceleration program, which we do it for the large corporates. That's called industry co-creation. And the third pillar is the investment, the VC side of it. And the fourth pillar is the consulting. So it's a complete value chain. We work on it under the brand name GHV Accelerator. So that's about me. I live in Gurgaon in India, but have base in Singapore, Japan also. Very soon, hopefully, we'll be expanding in Israel as well as in London. Coming to your point about the go-to-market, the role of AI, I think if I have to pick the two words, go-to-market is easy if AI is powerful. Why? I've seen startups. By the way, I have mentored more than 3,000 startups in my life in the last 30 years. Made few unicorns, one decacorn, and a couple of sunicorns, and failed a lot with the investments I've done. So I can proudly say that I have failed a lot rather than success because that gives a learning. Why AI can help in go-to-market? What I see the founders, the story of the Dhruva in 2006, I think we took almost 6 to 12 months to decide as angels, along with the founders, three founders, what is the right go-to-market? Because they were struggling with the resources. We were struggling to bet on the founder. Today, with the AI, it is very easy to discover what is the right market, right problem to solve, and how to work in the market with the right partners. So I'm a firm believer of if you are building something, small, medium, large, in terms of the size of the company, you should know what you are building, for whom you are building, where are you building, and when are you building. And I think without AI, it takes time to answer these four questions. But with AI, it's with a blink of an eye, you can get the answer. So with AI, go to market is very easy. It is all subjective, like how you look at the narrative of AI when you are looking at the go to market. A case study I have to share with you how AI is really transforming the go to market. One of the startups we picked up in just the beginning of COVID 2020 Feb, if I'm not wrong, introduced by Entity Data to me. I'm ex Entity Data. So the Entity Data invested in this startup in healthcare, and they were basically funded also by Entity Data. And this startup was struggling with go to market. It took us 3 to 6 months to decide. I give credit to COVID for us to decide faster because of the time availability and we were quite focused on the work without any distraction. How to build the go-to-market for them, and it was like in 6 months they were ready to go global. They are AI in radiology, and fast forward after we accelerated them under GHV Accelerator, they have presence in 16 countries. 3,000 hospitals are using the product, including Singapore government hospitals are using the product, and thanks to AI. So they were not leveraging AI before they came to us. Now they are the champions in the space, and they have been growing more than 120% year on year. So the go-to market is now competitive also with the AI, and it is easy also. Another use case, another example I can share with you of another portfolio of mine is in the D2C space, consumer space. And this company is in the beverage space. They were struggling to go global, and they were doing pretty well in the Indian market, and they were not too sure whether they can go abroad or not. Now, why I'm sharing this example is because this is example again during COVID when there was a restriction to travel abroad and they were made to launch themselves in Japan with the help of GHV acceleration program during COVID, the peak of COVID. I think Delta was the time when they launched in Japan their business, and this company is called Blue Tokai Coffee. And we used artificial intelligence, AI, various tools at that time to do the right product market fit, consumer behavior, everything we use using the different tools of AI. And definitely, we helped identifying the right partners in Japan. Without traveling to Japan, they were able to not only launch themselves, start building a profitable business in 12 months. So I think go-to-market strategy is easy with AI, and it all depends with whom you are partnering, where you are partnering, and when you are partnering for the AI in GTM. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram. Moving on. Uh, Now, the last part is Peter, and Peter will introduce himself. But Peter is actually from the law or the legal side of the things, and he's actually a intellectual property related lawyer. Is it correct? So the intellectual property is also very critical when it comes to the startup business, and when you scale to market, accelerate, when you become big, that intellectual property is something that protects it. So from your side, the go-to-market aspect, the legal angle of it, would you be willing to share to the audience, Peter?
Of course, thank you very much, Deepu, and thank you for having me here. My name is Peter Ling. I'm a Swiss IP lawyer. I work mainly in patent law in Zurich, Switzerland, and I'm also a lecturer at ETH Zurich, where I try to give basic understanding of IP law to engineering and science students. And I will try to give you a bit of a different perspective on this topic, which is the perspective of not a startup, not an incubator, but more or an accelerator, but more the perspective of an outside counsel who has been dealing, among others, with VCs and startups, and who has done a couple of funding rounds and exits of startups. In my experience, it's a bit there's a contradiction when it comes to the understanding of intellectual property aspects by young companies in general. There is generally a very good understanding of intellectual property on a very high level, and there is a generally very good understanding of the importance of protecting the IP that is in the technology, whether it's services or products that a company is planning to bring to market. However, pretty often there is little more understanding than that. So people do understand, and entrepreneurs understand very well that it's an important topic, but at the very beginning of the journey, often, and understandably so, because at the beginning of the journey you're excited, you wanna bring something to market, you wanna improve the world, you wanna do something that you didn't do before, you wanna meet people, and too little thought is probably given to IP strategy on a broader level. An IP strategy in the sense of okay, you did get a patent, that's great, but what aspect of your invention is actually protected? Is it an aspect that is easy which is easy to do differently? Can others just say, okay, your patent is interesting, but we will do this aspect a bit differently, and we can compete with you? If patents and not every startup has patents. If patents are not on the table, what is the reason for that? If you have trade secrets, or if you have pretty often, or in almost every case, trade secrets on certain aspects of the technology, you have to be able to explain why you didn't get the patent on that aspect of the technology. And when I say you will have to explain, that's the discussions that startups will get from, I would guess, the first funding round, and at the latest at the exit, because intellectual property in these cases is very often the most important and often the only valuable asset of a company. And if intellectual property is poorly protected or not the right aspects are protected, then it can make a very big difference in terms of valuation and also in terms of whether the funding can be obtained to go to market when the company wants to go to market. But this is kind of the first aspect of the discussion about intellectual property. Which aspect of the invention is protected, which aspect of the technology is protected, and how is it protected? A second aspect of the discussion is often, is it protected at the right places? So as you all know, patents are national rights, and startups will at the beginning have little money and great ideas. So we have, again, this discussion about creativity and commercialization. I am a lawyer, hence I am on the commercialization side and not on the creative side, pretty obviously. And the discussion or the thinking of where is it that in the world that you want to protect your patent is an extremely important one. Because getting a patent in all 190 countries of the world is just not possible. Nobody does that. It's too expensive, too complex. However, mapping the world and saying, okay, where are your markets? Where are your potential competitors? Where are the places where you want to have protection? And which are maybe the places that, it's not a big deal if you don't get protection there, but you want to have these 3, 4, 5, 6 markets for good reasons. That's a very important thinking to have in order to be able to explain when the day of a big funding round comes or the day of the exit comes and the due diligence is made. These are the questions that typically people will be asking. And the third and probably most important question and most important strategic thinking that companies should have at this stage is who is in control. So patents or IP in general is a great thing and very important asset, like I said. But very, very, very often, in particular when the IP was either created in collaboration with someone else, maybe before the incorporation, or if your young company is a university spin-off or the spin-off of another company, you have to ask the question, okay, is this patent maybe co-owned by someone else? And if so, do you have control? Can you actually use it? Can you license it? Can you prevent your partner from using it? And if we're talking more late stage companies, this question will increasingly be asked about who invented it. Did you have the right employment agreements in place? Did you have the right clauses? When you collaborate with external parties, do you have non-disclosure agreements in place? Do you have the right clauses in place that allow you to make sure that not only you have IP, but you're in control of the IP that you have? I think I'll stop here and leave some other aspects that I'd like to talk about for the second round.
Thank you, Peter. So I'll just briefly take 2 minutes to summarize all the main key points, and then we'll move to the next round. So the key aspects that Shafrir mentioned was, while the incubators stay focused and the startups, it's very critical to understand that they should go to sales as soon as possible, because the feedback from the market is critical. And also it's very important to get the startups to talk to each other, collaborate and cooperate was the other key takeaway. From Madhu, she mentioned that one of the key learning or key takeaway from her was people doesn't care what great technology you are selling. People care about what value you are bringing to the market. So that's a very important learning as part of it. And it's also that it's the product market fix or who will buy it. Maybe the voice of the customer is very critical to find that. Olivier mentioned echoed similar sentiments. Technology is a mean to the end, but more than that, in the agriculture domain, how actually the 90% of the agri market is small farmers, and how technology, hardware, software, and data can actually bring in better revenues and farming to it. But I really like the fact that hardware is not hard, software is soft, but data is really hard. It's pretty good, right? And then Vikram did mention about the entire ecosystem and how he started his journey. But he said always startups, and I also, as a professor in charge of incubation, always find that the startups always struggle to find the right mentors, partners, investors, exits, etc. And he is of the firm belief that AI will be able to reduce the time to market, or the identify the right market product mix. And Peter, being the legal expert in this domain, he actually gave few good points. Is that while many people, startups understand good understanding of the intellectual property, and also good understanding of how to protect it, but they sometimes don't have that IP strategy built in from the beginning of the journey, which is also very critical, because it's sometimes that's the most important and probably only valuable assets the startups will have. With that summary, I think I got most of the key points. So with that, I will go to the second round again in the same order, but this time the three questions, simple questions, which I amassed from your discussions, and feel free to answer in whichever one you want to. And the three questions are, there were people who said that AI will come and change everything and will drive the things better. So will AI drive the commercialization or the go-to-market strategy aspect? And will it replace the accelerators? Or it will be more like augment the accelerators? So that's one. What are your thoughts on it? Number two, we all know who work in the incubator ecosystem that the product-based startups struggle when it comes to the commercialization aspect. It's much easier to commercialize services-based startups. So there are many challenges aspects. So what are some? Please throw some light into some of those key aspects of it. And then the third thing I would also ask you guys is, what can be done better by the startup, incubator, accelerator, investor ecosystem with the support of AI, so that this go-to-market time can be reduced, and really, things can, we can actually see the fruit of your struggle much earlier than what it is. So, Shafrir?
I would like to share a story with you. I'm sharing the same industry, the agriculture industry. This is my field of expertise. And I have a picture in my mind. One of the first projects I did in India, it was of mango plantation, improving the yield, improving the cultivation method and the revenue for the farmer. A big one in Tamil Nadu that grows mango. And I have a picture in my mind that walks with me since then. And this was one of my first projects in India. There was a guy that was an Indian guy, an employee, a worker. What he did, he had this traditional clothes, the shorts, and he was barefoot. He was climbing on the trees, what we prune with special scissor or equipment, mechanical equipment. He went climbing on the tree, do the pruning with the machete, just hitting the branches in the places they thought they should be cutted. But this barefoot, traditional clothes, and machete guy had a smartphone on the other side of his body. And I think this is symbolize the fact that we cannot ignore the technology. And the current technology is AI. This is the thing, the big data, the AI, the strong computers. This is what we have, and they will reflect into this smartphone of this very simple, low-end employee, if I might say so. He has a smartphone on the tree, barefoot, and this will either guide him, instruct him. It might be smaller, it might be in his glasses, it might be, I don't know. But it will be part of our life. We cannot ignore it. It will accelerate whatever we do, whether it be development, scientist development program, or the marketing people statement. It will be part of it. Yet I don't think it will replace any of our role. It will accelerate procedures that are existing now to a speed that we'll have to fasten our seatbelts in order to stay in the car in this startup of ours. It will be there, but it won't replace all of the tasks that a businessman or startup man will have.
Thank you, Shafred. Madhu?
Yes, I mean, with AI, lots of tasks will be automated and you will get the speed, but still there will be the requirement of accelerators. When you sell to enterprises, you still need that personal connection. Today also you can get the database, you can get the email IDs, you can get the phone numbers. But when any startup is going and talking to their customers, potential customers, it's difficult to get the time slot from their calendar. Then even if you get the time slot from the calendar, again, it's difficult to understand what is their perspective. Because when you are on calls with these customers, they all say good things about the product. But if you will be there who will give you the actual feedback, what is wrong in this product, what is wrong in the team, what is wrong in the go-to-market strategy that you are using. So still there needs to be somebody who can personally go and talk to these customers and provide you the right feedback and provide you the right insights, what kind of changes you need to make into your product or into your go-to-market strategies, or what kind of improvements you need to make. Of course, AI will give you lots of insights, but still that one-on-one conversations or the personal relations that will help you in building and selling the product will always be required. Answering your another question, so how VCs, incubators, accelerators can help startups in growing? The one key element over here is teach them value hypothesis instead of teaching growth hypothesis. The value hypothesis is provide the value. Don't focus too much on the growth. I'm targeting this sector, I'm targeting that sector, I'm again targeting another market. First, focus on the value. First, focus on one targeted sector where you are actually delivering the value. I think that's the one thing which, as an ecosystem, we can teach and help startups and help them in saving their funds, their energy, and help them in growing in the right direction.
Thank you, Madhu. Olivia?
Tricky question. Another one. Yes, as a software developer, I'm all for automation. And as I explained, in our case, automation is the way to reduce cost, to trigger on frugality. And as I think that 80% of all we do will become commodity very fast. So 20% is the rest of what can be sold. I think that we need to focus not only on speed, but also on velocity. Right now, you're hearing a lot of talk about you must go to AI or die, basically. I think it's rather not true, because from my personal experience, I receive LinkedIn message every day about people willing to give me access to customers directly, and I know they use AI, and the message they send me is AI, and I dismiss that, because that's the part that is important. The part that is important that use automation to the 80% of boring stuff. The 20% that rest, and it's especially true in agri-tech, is the direct contact, is the first-hand message that you get from the customer, from the prospect. And so, yes, we can improve our go-to-market if, and only if, we focus on velocity and not only speed. You know, 9 women can't make a baby in 1 month. And it's very important to keep in mind that there's a mindset in your customer's head, there's a process. And before they adopt your technology, that they don't care about. They care about how you solve their issues. Before they consent to that in their mind, it takes a long time to establish trust, to verify that your solution provides actual return on investment. It's something that you can shortcut. And even with AI, I would say, at least in my branch, in my trade, in agri-tech, you need to talk to your customer, and more you need to talk to your customers. So AI, maybe it will help translating things. I would like to be able to speak Tamil or Kannada, that won't come soon enough. So maybe, and surely AI will help me have more fluid conversation with Indian farmers. But for now, that's the extent of it, because at the end of the day, they need to see me, they need to see that I care, that I come to understand their solution, and their problem, and I will adjust my solution to their needs. That's my vision anyway.
Thank you, Olivier. Vikram?
So my take on the impact of AI for the accelerators, it's a positive mindset I'm carrying, and I'm finding it is it's actually happening in terms of the value AI is adding to acceleration programs. I'll try to put in different buckets, how it's helping in the acceleration program. The startups who are getting accelerated, they are able to save 20 to 40% of their cost of marketing, which they try to raise in seed round or pre-series A round. With the optimization techniques using AI, they are able to reduce the cost of operations. They increase the speed to go to market. They have the power to pivot fast. And fourth, last but not the least, and the most important for these startups, they are saving a lot of equity when they are raising their round. And in our case, we are running multiple acceleration programs for different corporates, for ourselves also. Our portfolios, many of them, generally those who are not aware about it, every round it is in the range of 5 to 20% dilution for every round, depending on which stage and which investor you're going for, in which market you are entering. A substantial saving they have done in terms of 30 to 40% of the equity of the value they are diluting. So if they are diluting 20%, then 40% they have saved using the power of AI, because the acceleration has been very fast, optimized, and they have been able to deliver faster to the customer or the market with the right validation. Now, to your second point, the comment or a message or advice, whatever you take it, for the VCs, the accelerators, and the incubators, there are two sets on the extreme side of it. Empower the entrepreneurs who are committed for a long-term journey, for a marathon, not a 100-meter sprint race. The second, on the other side of it, do not try to create unreal entrepreneurs or the product in the market, which will eventually fail in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikram and Peter. So from the intellectual side, would you like to tackle the problem?
Happy to do that. So first of all, I'd like to say that I fully share Vikram's very optimistic take on AI and in general. I think we might be entering a type of valley of disappointment on AI. Everyone has been very excited for about 2 years, 2.5 years. And I think some of us, including myself, thought that this would be a miracle cure for a lot of issues that we have. It is clearly not, but it is turning out to be a great tool. And I think people and companies are currently finding those use cases where AI will make their lives really easier. We still have, just as a personal anecdote on this, I increasingly have clients who contact me and who tell me, this is our issue. And I asked ChatGPT, and it said that this is Article 308 of the Swiss Civil Code, and this is why we should get this funding or something. And generally, what they tell me is really sounds great, and is generally not true. And so we are not there yet. You know, these are not the use cases. I do not believe that AI will replace as many jobs as people fear. I think AI will create actually a lot more jobs. And I think also, and this is also on a personal note, it's every revolutionary technology, as I think history teaches, every revolutionary technology gives us the impression that we will do the same things quicker. And actually, we end up doing a lot more things in the same time. So it's not that we can eat our cake a lot quicker than before, but actually there's more cake. And so we will not be working less. We will probably be working more with AI, but we will be more efficient. We will be able to do more than we did before. This is a very kind of personal note. I think AI is actually already helping a lot on a lot of issues. Starting with research and development, AI has been an extreme accelerator of research and development in many areas. I'm mostly active in life sciences, both in pharma and agricultural science, and everybody is now using various AI tools. And I'm not just talking Gen AI, I'm talking really various types of AI tools, and they turn out to be extremely helpful in R&D. But also, once you have the creativity, once you have the innovation, bringing it to market, AI proves to be, at least it seems to me, an extremely useful tool to understand markets better, to understand customers' needs better, to aggregate data a lot better. Data is out there. Data is often, that's sometimes it's very hard to get good data, but sometimes it's easy, but it's hard to understand it. And AI is proving to be extremely helpful on aggregation, on summarization, and synthesization of data. And on your last question, I think this is a very hard one. So what is it that could be done better by incubators? Frankly, I have very positive experiences with the incubators that I know. So I think there is not a lot of things that I can say about that. I think those that I know are doing a very, very good job. But also maybe this question is probably different depending on the industry you're in. So if you're in an industry with very long lead times, like pharma or like agriculture, where between the innovation and the go-to-market, you have sometimes 10 years. It's a very, if you're in early stages, the incubators have probably a very different role than if we're talking about a software company or an AI company that has very short lead times, that have to go to market very quickly. Regulatory issues are not that important. But like I said, I'm super happy with the incubators I know, and I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Peter. So I think we have concluded the 2 rounds of all the panel members. So to the audience, do you guys have any specific questions in this regard? Please raise your hand, and then yep. After her, it's him. Okay. Yeah. Here.
Thanks to all of you. A lot of wisdom that I've received from here. I have a couple of questions, one on the IP side and the second on the value addition side. So, so one quote that sort of inspired me. So by the way, let me introduce myself. I'm Sanjay. I'm a faculty in engineering as well as a founder of a startup. So one quote that has inspired me is one by Yuri Levin when he says, fall in love with the problem and not the solution. So which is generally as technology, experts, we generally try to go the other way around. Okay, so I'm trying to block that intuitive leap. So in order to fall in love with the problem, I need to understand what the true value is. And in order to understand true value, I need to reach out to the correct segment that I'm addressing, right? The customer side. So one problem I'm personally facing is finding the right role of the customer. For example, is that an influencer or is it a user? So can you give me some advice on whether AI can help me find that correct conversation. With whom should I have that conversation? And any one advice on how to conduct that conversation? That's my first question. In order to understand the value that I will probably bring with or without my solution.
Anyone? It's open to any one of you.
Uh, so AI can help you out with that, but more your customers will help you out. So if it's B2C, then of course there are lots of platforms where you can just put what you are developing and get the feedback. As I mentioned, we host roast sessions where we specifically ask we invite your targeted customer, your potential customers, and specifically their target or their role during that session is to roast you, to understand about the solution and point out the problems. And when they are pointing out the problems, that helps you in understanding whether this particular segment is right for you. Of course, they are telling you the problems that you need to fix in the product, but at the same time, they are also telling you what kind of modifications you need to make, right? So if you have to make lots of modification, then that's not the right value for that particular set of customers. Then you target some other customers. May I know, are you in B2C or B2B?
It could be both, but largely B2B.
B2B.
So, B2B
Okay,
products.
okay.
So my question is, see, instead of me going and looking at which customer and what their role is, can I leverage these tools to identify the right people I talk to so that I minimize we definitely need to have customer conversations, right? That is, there is no replacement for that.
Yeah.
But can I filter out those customers or the potential customers using these tools, right? So do you all see any possibility, or is there any advice on that side? I don't know if my question is
Can I take this?
but
Yeah, sure.
So what I'm able to understand is your problem, and your question is like how to leverage AI for customer feedback for your problem you're trying to solve and leverage it in your business, right?
identify value.
Sorry?
Identify the value.
Identify the value, right?
Value to the customer.
Now, one very important element which we always miss in a business is that a customer is not going to be with you long term. If you look at the LTV of a business, lifetime value of a customer, you cannot derive out of AI, because AI is for IQ, but the LTV is evaluated based on IQ plus EQ. So the emotional quotient you cannot judge through AI. In a B2B space, what you can do at the max using multiple tools where you can identify the market, the corporates, since you mentioned B2B, and within corporates, study the history of the corporates. What is their emotional quotient on which they are building the enterprise?
Okay.
And then use your LinkedIn. And then go back again to ChatGPT or DeepSeek and all those things, and build the prompt around there, right? So, and there are many multiple AI tools you can use that. So it's not a single AI which will help you to build a business. It's a cocktail you have to create, and EQ has to come with your network you have built over a period of time.
So that's where the person-to-person empathy.
You can't miss that. In the Indian context, definitely you can't.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. I have one more question.
Hold on. Please maybe do it for at the time of. Okay.
We have a presentation by Nir Koren exactly on that cocktail that you're describing and the different elements in AI and the input of the human in it. So I encourage you, I think 10:30 a.m. That presentation tackles exactly that.
Okay. I think we'll take one more question. Yeah. So we can take maybe two. We have 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes more. Okay, fine. Take more questions. Okay. Two more questions. We have time. Anybody else? Okay, you ask the AI, ask ChatGPT. Yeah, going once. Any more questions? If you have another question, sure, then. Yes.
Thank you, and sorry to hog the mic. But all right. So now with AI, I'm worried about IP. So could somebody use AI to figure out a method to break IP? So what would be your advice? What should I protect, and what should be the method of protection so that this doesn't happen? So before Peter answer, he is the best expert sitting in this panel. We should not be worried about AI. We should leverage AI. That should be the mindset we should build. We should not be worried that anyone can copy our concept or IP because AI can replicate that for everyone. You have to think fast and act fast before you go to the legal experts with various variants you create and what market is asking for. And I think let's hear from Peter how it can be protected with the AI in presence.
I agree with this remark, by the way. I can tell you that I have been to about 15 or 20 conferences about AI and intellectual property, and I think nobody has really figured out the answer to your question. What seems interesting about AI and the relationship to intellectual property is, first of all, what you mentioned is kind of reverse engineering. So it might be that certain technologies will be easier to reverse engineer with AI than it used to be before. And that means that patent protection will have an even increased importance, because if you have just a trade secret and anyone, you don't have legal protection, your protection is confidentiality. But anyone can use good enough AI trained on good enough data to figure out what is it that you're doing. Then your trade secret is not as valuable as it might have been maybe 10 or 20 years ago. So that's one thing. The other thing that kind of I wouldn't say it worries us, but we lawyers are trained to worry anyway. So that's our job. We are just paranoid, non-risk takers. And one thing that kind of bothers us a bit is how the invention process that is using AI. So if you, let's say you're looking for a technical solution for something in your field, and you are making use of AI tools, and it turns out that the AI tool comes up with the solution. So it's not a person, but the tool, and the person is using the tool. Do you get patent protection on that? Can it be protected or not? And the answer currently in most countries of the world is that you cannot. AI cannot be an inventor. Only a person can be an inventor. A human person can be an inventor, but not a machine. And so the question that brings us, of course, to the whole area of, okay, but if it could be figured out by a machine, then it's probably not inventive, because a machine is not inventive per se. And so then if that's true, that will lead us into a world where actually a lot fewer things will be patentable than used to be. We just don't know the answer to that. But these are the questions that kind of preoccupy us at the moment.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And given that there is no more questions, I guess none more.
If we have just 30 seconds more.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I have the perspective of a startup on IP. We are promoters of open models because we think that they are perfectly fitted to the time coming up. And regarding AI specifically, I don't think you can protect a prompt or a knowledge base or vector database. It makes no sense because it evolves daily. And especially if you're willing to dedicate one prompt and one database to every customer, which is, I think, the sense of history. Regardless, patent can be very useful, not in this specific part of protecting IP of AI. I don't know what it is actually, but I would say to reconcile us with the real world. I said we are doing hardware, and in hardware is very important because for the last 25 years we've been doing virtual things in the internet, and now we are trying to reconnect with the reality. And a lot of value will come to that. I think it's 20% that is not commodity. And that needs to be protected. But it's for startup, it's complicated to get patents because it takes 1 year. And as I used to say, it's like you buy a rifle. It takes 1 year to arrive and you have no bullets to use it. So you can just give big kicks to people with the, with the handle. But it's very complicated. And I agree with you on the AI part. And as I would say, it's still valuable. We plan to open source everything we develop in the future, but at the same time, we acquire patents from laboratories to develop the next stage. So it's not antagonist. We can do both. Thank you.
Okay, so before concluding, just quickly, one last key takeaway from each of the panelists for the audience. So the go-to-market strategy, there is this 4 Ps as we discussed: the product, price, place, and promotion. So individually, I'd request each one of you, starting with Shafrir, then Madhu, then Olivier, Vikram, and Peter. What aspects would you think AI will be able to make the biggest contribution quickly, and how would that actually may change the incubator, accelerator, innovator ecosystem? Yeah. So,
if I may, I would like to share it, my answer to 2 parts. One, from the accelerator point of view, I think one of our main tasks is to help the entrepreneurs, the startups, to find the balance between the profession, the things they developed to the market. Find the balance. And having said that, AI, big data is an important tool. It's not the only one. Let's go back to the internet early days. It was like changing everything. No need for people, no need for libraries, no need for many things. And it became one of our tools. I assume if we'll be here 5 years from now, look back, AI will be part of our tools, part of our times. So it will help us develop the products, and it will help us develop the markets. And our role is to help the entrepreneurs find the balance, how to use AI, not to be afraid of it, not to use it too much, not to rely on it, but put it in our toolbox. And I would like to move one step back and look from above it to this discussion. I think we have also to say something to the entrepreneurs. You should choose your accelerator. You should choose your incubator. Think well, what do you think? What do you need? And then check if the accelerator have it. It could be AI abilities or AI support or AI expert. It could be money. It could be focus. It could be connections in the markets. But I think a good last sentence for me to this audience is, it is going on 2 ways. Not only the accelerator choose the entrepreneurs, also the entrepreneurs has to search and look for a good place to settle and to develop his idea.
Completely agree with you. Then yeah, I mean the market research is something where AI can help everybody. It's a huge topic, and it's a huge analysis that we need to do whenever we want to start any company or whenever we want to develop anything. So AI can help a lot with the market research to anybody. So I think that's my one key takeaway, that market research I mean, getting efficiency in market research with AI's help would be great.
So I will repeat myself very fastly because I think we are over time. AI will obviously help us streamline our operation, which is very important because we need to reach our customers faster and more efficiently. And this is basically automation on one part and reallocation of resources from IT to the field. It's maybe specific to agri-tech, but I don't think so. Thank you.
I think we will never be invited again because we talk too much. One word, I think AI I see the most fantasy on the first P, on the product side. That's where we will see the most innovation. That's my take on your question.
So my take on AI for product first, followed by the process, because process is very important along with the product. Then comes the price, and last but not the least, the place. All four will be well leveraged by AI when you're building a strong, robust business for long term.
Thank you for the key takeaways. And any concluding remarks?
No.
Okay, so on behalf of the organizing committee and everyone, I sincerely thank each of the panelists, Shafrir, Madhu, Olivier, Peter, and Vikram. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for spending the time and sharing your wisdom. Sincerely appreciated. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just the time for us to turn around that stage, but we will continue the discussion on AI in this room. And in ballroom 3, we're talking about the blood revolution. So and here it is, the learning revolution. Exactly right. Grab a coffee quickly and join us back.